And welcome into the Wheelhouse here on Elevation 50 Sports and Lifestyle. And well, Matt, it wouldn't be a Wheelhouse without some technical stuff and things like that. So maybe we change it from zero research, all reaction to F technology.
I don't know. I hope you can hear me. I hope everybody can hear me. But yeah, it's annoying. It's really annoying. It's not even fun today. It's super annoying that I don't understand it. I don't get it because I've had this thing downloaded in my computer for a long time. I even got a new one, and then all of a sudden it won't even pick up my mic or anything. So
Yeah. Well, we can't.
it's frustrating. You can't hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you, so you're good. Yeah, it's just I hate technology. It's a love-hate relationship. Some technology is cool, and then others makes you want to just like throw your phone against the wall.
Yeah,
and then go pay $300 for a new one. You know what I used to do, Matt? I got so mad playing video games back in the day. I would throw the controller, and then you're like, "Crap! I got to go spend $50 for a new controller."
I've broke many a controller in my day for sure.
Yeah, and now you just try to be a little bit more patient. I used to kick the dresser or whatever was in front of me. So that's the little temper tantrums that I threw back in the day were classic. So there we go. Are you a Swiftie, Matt, by the way? Are you
No.
You didn't get tickets to?
No, she's horrible. She's awful. I loved Taylor Swift back in the day when she came out and she was a country singer, But everything she's done, I can't say that. I'm just not a fan of her. I'm not a fan of all that hoopla, like all the money, everybody going crazy over that. I mean, I get it because we just did the same thing over the Nuggets, but it's not for me. She's not. She used to be for me, but not anymore. I can't stand her stuff anymore.
Well, there you go. Yeah, it was crazy on Friday. There was people out, Matt, at like 4 a.m. At Empower waiting just for the merchandise tents to open. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I remember I had some friends that, you remember when Garth Brooks was like going back and forth from like retiring or his last show, and he did his last show. I had some friends that did that stuff.
Yeah, and yeah, the whole camping out, which was weird because speaking of traders and I'm still bitter about this, went to Dick's Sporting Goods to get Bruce Brown's autograph a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And there were people, like the first 4 or 5 people were in tents.
Oh, God.
To get Bruce Brown's autograph. And of course, those people got tickets to meet and greet him. And then the tickets ran out like 8 people in front of me. So
it's no big deal now because he's gone anyway, right?
Yeah. Still kind of bitter about that. All right, a lot to get into today. A lot of ways for you to get involved on Facebook at Elevation 5280 Sports and Lifestyle. We are streaming live on there, streaming live on Twitter. Follow us at 5280 Sports Radio. Follow Matt at Matt Mascarenas1. Follow me at Michael Spillin. And go subscribe and like the YouTube channel as well. And that is the same as the Twitter handle at 5280 Sports Radio, on Instagram as well. So go check all of those out, as we have a lot to get into today. Matt, we weren't able last week was kind of our 4th of July holiday, so we didn't get to discuss the new NBA in-season tournament that's going to happen basically the entire month of November. So they're going to try that out. Not a new rule, but a rule is back, I guess. So Voldemort, watch out, because the flop effect is back. And we'll get into some more he who shall not be named news, as once again he's in the news. Speaking of in the news, Matt, it seems like the NBA is trying to be like the NFL in that matter, just pumping out headlines, pumping out news, pumping out everything. It seems like every week. Remember the whole mantra of the NFL was NFL's a 365 day headline grabber.
Yeah.
The NFL's been kind of quiet. It's kind of strange. Maybe just in Denver because Sean Payton is a little bit quiet and keeping hush hush. Training camp gets going here soon. and we'll get into some early MLB trade deadline. That the trade deadline is in 15 days, so about 2 weeks from right now. Some big names already circling around some trades that might go down here in about a couple of weeks. But Matt, summer league also wrapping up here in the NBA down in Vegas. By the way, have you seen that sphere?
Yeah.
What is the thing with the sphere? What is that thing?
I don't know 100% exactly what it is, but it looks. I see a new picture of it. I feel like I was at the store the other day and I saw there was a video. There was some TV playing at the store at a grocery store, right? And I saw it there, so it's everywhere. I really don't. I can't. I don't think I've seen a picture of it where it's not like all lit up and looks like that. So it's weird. It's really odd. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, and everyone keeps posting about it. It has the summer league, so I don't know what the sphere is. Also, the WNBA All Star Game just went down as well. Yeah, I think that was also in Vegas, if I'm not mistaken. So that Wimbledon is happening right now as well. So there's a lot going on besides the normal things that we normally discuss. And the MLB All Star Game was last week as well up in Seattle. It's kind of crazy that not only was Diaz the first Colorado Rocky catcher to make an All Star game, but he was the first Colorado Rocky at all to win the Ted Williams MVP award, which, Matt, is going to be the only thing the Rockies win all season.
Yeah, it was. I didn't even. Sorry, I got all kinds of things going off right now. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's annoying, dude. I don't know what's going on. It I didn't even know, I'll be honest. I didn't even know the All-Star game was this week. I didn't even know the home run derby was this week. I didn't even pay attention. I didn't even watch it. When I woke up in the morning and it said something about the Rockies, I saw Rockies, Diaz, and I'm thinking, wait, that guy plays for us too. He plays for the Rockies, doesn't he? Like that's how out of baseball I've been. And it was kind of cool because I guess we got hardware now. Like the Rockies have hardware, the Nuggets have hardware, the Avs have hardware, and now we're just waiting for the Broncos to do something. So yeah, that was cool, I guess. I mean, like how do you feel about that as a fan of the Rockies? Your catcher who was there just because, like, did he deserve to be there, or was he there because he just went? Because that's the way it works.
Yeah, you have to have at least one representative
Yeah,
from each team go. So I guess whoever has the best stats, they're like, all right, I guess you're going. So it seemed, Diaz, I didn't realize he's been in the league for that long. He's already 32
right.
years old. I know he was on Pittsburgh before he went to the Rockies, but haven't much heard, didn't really hear about him before his time in Colorado. So, it was cool for him, I bet, to hit that 2-run go ahead home run in the eighth inning. A lot of people were talking about the uniforms, Matt, the kind of like dark green and Seattle-ish color camo looking things. I thought they were pretty cool. I don't know if you saw a picture of them, but I thought they were neat.
Yeah, I mean, because those are unique to every town, right? Don't they build those uniforms to kind of
Well,
where they have it?
well, now they do, but back in the day, they used to just wear their team's uniform,
Right.
home or away, which was cool also.
Right, right. I did like that too. So yeah, I guess I can't really remember what they look like. I don't really remember what they look like, but yeah, it was crazy to see. I saw that Diaz, and then I got a buddy who's a Rockies fan, and he was texting me and, did you see that last night? I'm like, dude, I'm not watching the Rockies or anything to do with the Rockies. I didn't even know that. But anyway, it was cool. It was cool to I guess to see. Now, one of these questions, like, I didn't watch it this year. I didn't watch the dunk contest either. But the thing that I was talking to another buddy of mine about was is the home run derby and the dunk contest kind of like the same, along the same lines right now, or is one better than the other?
I still think the home run derby is better just because, hey, chicks dig the long ball. And it is funny, though, because I think we've run out of dunks to do in,
Right.
in, in NBA. And I'm sure someone, they'll have to be more creative, and I'm sure people will. But it's funny how you're running out of dunks, but there's only one way to hit a baseball
Right.
out of the ballpark. But for whatever reason, the home run derby is just awesome. And of course, Vladdy Jr. Took home the home run derby crown this year, and I don't know. I think the MLB All Star Game in general is the best All Star game that there is. Obviously, you have the Pro Bowl in football, which has been watered down to a flag football game,
It's ridiculous.
which is just absolutely terrible. The NBA, I think they're going back to conferences this next year. They're not doing the
The draft.
picking a team, shoot for captains or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So they're not doing Team Voldemort and Team whoever else is on the other side. So we're not going to see that hopefully ever again. I don't know what they're going to do. They need to do something with the NBA All-Star game. And, the NHL, it goes under the radar, Matt, because it's a mix between the MLB and the NBA. There's not a lot of defense. Guys just let guys skate by them. But in baseball, you kind of have to play. Like you're not going to let a ball go by you. Like that would be the equivalent of not playing defense in the NBA All-Star game, is just letting this
Right.
Olay stuff go by.
There's old, yeah.
And so you're not going to have Roger Dorn at third base miss a whole bunch of balls. So we're not going to see that. And when it's 3-2, Matt, obviously it's a well played game, a well pitched game. When it's 3-2 in an All-Star game, when you have the best players in the league going up against each other, and then a guy like Elias Diaz hitting a 2-run go ahead home run in the 8th inning, I think MLB has not only the best All-Star game, but the best events surrounding it too. Because the celebrity softball game, honestly, is pretty cool too.
It is cool. I was just gonna say that too. Like I enjoy the NHL. That used to be one of my favorites because I used to watch the skills competition, and then like the game not so much, but the skills competition was pretty good. Just like the NBA skills competition used to be pretty good. It's kind of fell off a little bit because if you get the right guys in there, you get the right players in there, it can be really really good. But I like the celebrity all-star or softball game. That's fun. Like, did you watch the celebrity basketball game this year? I didn't get a chance to watch that.
I didn't. I don't think I watched anything NBA All Star game. Honestly, I don't know
I
where I may have been in. I think I was in Florida, so I
You
didn't
might,
have.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, I was just gonna bring that up again because I think anytime we get an all-star game or the discussion gets brought up, what's better, what do you like most, and of the all-star games. Yeah, I agree. I think the NFL should just go, but they should get rid of the game. You don't need to play a game. You guys play enough football. Just give us the skills competitions. Just give us those skills competitions. Bring those back. Bring the quarterback challenge. Remember the quarterback challenge?
yeah, that was pretty
I
cool.
love that. Bring that back. Bring back a wide receivers. You can do something to get these guys, to show their skills because without playing. So the NFL needs to get rid of the game as a whole for sure.
Yes, or tweak it, or have these guys play for something. Because honestly, Matt, I liked when the MLB All Star game, whoever won had home field advantage. I personally like that. I know they got rid of it. I don't know
Yeah,
how many years ago, but I like that because you were playing for something. I know, guy. If the NL, since the NL won this year, Matt, I know Elias Diaz could care less that whoever
right,
makes, the Rockies aren't making the World
right.
Series, so he could probably care less who has home field advantage in the World Series. But at least they tried to make it for something,
Yeah.
and even since they took that away, it's still the best All Star game that there is.
So how many pitchers do they have in the All-Star game? Do you know off the top of your head? Because I think that's where it gets into to trouble when they were trying to because I think I remember that game where the next year they didn't do it. I think Bruce Bochy was the manager. I feel like it was Bruce Bochy, and there was problems with running who's he going to have pitch because he didn't want to ruin him for the season. And I couldn't remember how big that pitching roster is. Do they have a lot of pitchers so they could maybe do that?
Off the top of my head, I am not sure how many
I
pitchers.
can't remember.
I want to say it's 10 or higher.
Yeah, because that would make it better if you could stock up the pitching, and because I know that was one of the biggest reasons why they got rid of they're trying to make it win, or if they to make it important to win the game was because of
one of the biggest reasons was because of the pitching. Was when they ran into, like, I don't know if I should put this guy out. I'm going to ruin it. You know what I mean? That, like, all the managers talk, say, hey, don't play this guy. I can imagine them saying that. So it would be curious if they opened up that side of things and then added, making that game mean something again. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, and because like the starter, I want to say goes like maybe 2-3 innings. They give the starter at least a couple of innings, and then they go basically every inning. Or if a couple hits or give up, they bring out somebody else.
Right.
I think they try to play everyone, but maybe the manager has his own pitcher in the game and is like, we're not going to pitch you because we don't want you to get hurt, which is kind of unfair to someone else who could have took that All-Star game roster spot. But yeah, I think baseball still leads the league in having leads the all four major sports in having the. What's funny is I watched more of the WNBA All-Star festivities yesterday than I did, and Friday, I think, and more than the NBA, which was actually pretty cool. I forgot. Her name is Sabrina. I don't know how to say her last name, from the New York Liberty, who had 37 points in the 3-point contest. I think she missed 2. I think she missed 2 shots altogether.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that, Mike. Like, I was even going to bring this up to you or mention this to you. I've been watching more WNBA as a whole than MLB. So than Major League Baseball. And I just, right now, I am just like I love basketball. So yeah, I caught the All-Star game. Brittany Griner had a dunk, which I wish she could be more impressive with her dunks. I wish we can get a woman that can be more impressive. And I understand dunking is not, when it comes to women's basketball, not at the top of the list of the things that they do. But you got to tell me some of these women are athletic enough to get up there. And I mean, like bring it down. Like Brittany, she just got up there and just put it in. Like, bring that damn thing down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, she seems like she's tall enough to.
I feel like she could do it.
But maybe that's just and I don't want to get into a whole I don't want to get into this whole thing, but I think, women are just genetically built shorter. So there's do they have the same height in the rim? Is it the same as the NBA?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's I believe so. I'm pretty sure. I haven't heard anything that it being different. The balls might be different, but
or is the 3-point line the same?
I'd have to. No, it's not. It's in more. I want to say.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in more.
And it's just probably because I think women are just genetically shorter. Maybe that's just what it is. I don't know.
You typically, but see, like with like you hit it right there though. Like, we don't want to go down that rabbit hole, because there are things that the women's game of basketball does a lot better than the men's game of basketball. Fundamentally, I think they're better. Their plays are a lot more crisp, and they run the plays a lot. There's a lot more fundamentals with the women's game. But like you think of a guy that's like, let's just think of Spud Webb. I mean, not all 5'7" guys are going to dunk, but if you're around that 6'1", 6'2", you're dunking a basketball and you're in the NBA, you're able to dunk a basketball. So yeah, there is a difference there, but I'm hoping that Brittany Griner or somebody like that can get a big one down this year somehow.
Yeah, we'll see. By the way, going back to our pitchers on the All-Star game, there's 12 per side. Jody, thanks for the comment there.
Right on. See, there you go.
12 per side. So I was pretty close in my
right there.
My 10 plus guess, I guess. So yeah, the WNBA All-Star game was I think the main game is tonight, I want to say, or it was yesterday.
I think it was yesterday.
I don't know what I was watching. Maybe it was a replay.
You might you could have been, because I know I've watched it, and they've had, like, before the game, they'll have the replay of the skills challenge or whatever. So maybe it was something like that. But yeah, I was watching a little bit of that game. It was
the skills was cool because Casey Plum from the Las Vegas Aces, and I forget her teammate's name, won the skills challenge. So that was cool to see. So when I say the MLB, or excuse me, the NBA is kind of mimicking, imitating, impersonating the NFL, it just seems like there's an NBA high headline every week now, just like the NFL, is almost a week by week headline grabber. Something's going on, but it seems the NBA is taking that to a whole new level this offseason. And what did you make of, because we didn't get to talk last week when the news came out about the new in-season tournament that's going to take place basically all of November. It's going to be from, I think, November 9th to December 9th. I think that's what it's going to be. So they're basically, I don't know how they're. I mean, are they going to have an All-Star break too? Because they get a week off for an All-Star break. Now they're going to have a month off for this in-season tournament, and they're going to call it what is it? The basketball cup or something like that.
It's something like
The trophy looks pretty cool, but I don't know, man. I know there's been talks about this the last couple of seasons that they were thinking about doing this, but and the whole seating is crazy. There's 4 pools. I think the Nuggets are in pool B or something like that. And yeah, it goes for a month.
Yeah.
And this is crazy. So I mean, the I mean, I know the NBA PA, the players association had to have voted for this, right? I mean,
right.
are they just trying it out? Are they going to even like this? Because think about it, man, the grind of the regular NBA playoffs goes for about 2.5 months, Matt. I mean, that's just almost every day playing basketball. You know what did it start in May? Is that when the playoffs
April?
start? April. So you basically go the end of mid to late April all the way to mid to late June to compete for the Larry O'Brien Trophy as the NBA champions, and then you're going to throw this NBA tournament. Is this just to, I guess, bring fans back? What is just your overall thought about this?
I like you said, they've been trying to do this. They've been trying to add it. They've been trying to do something in season, but it was always like, how are they going to add more games and how are they going to add more to already, like you mentioned, the playoffs, the All-Star break, and all that stuff. So what they've done, and this is the way I understand it, is these games they play a pool of like you said in their pool, and then they play these teams and then they seed them. The way I understand it is those games are already on the schedule, so they're just going to play the games and the teams that are on the schedule, and then from there we'll see it shake itself out. I that's the way I understand it, is the way these games are going to be scheduled, so they're already on the schedule and they're not added to the schedules. That's the way I understand it anyway. So it's kind of like a built into the scheduled kind of situation with the tournament. I'm curious to see what it looks like. You added you had the play-in games, you have the end of the postseason tournament, but and then you add this in for. I don't know who this is going to be for. I don't know if what the players get from it. Like, I haven't really heard if you win it, besides getting the trophy, is there anything else that goes along with that? I don't know if there's teams, like, maybe is this
I
for.
think I think there's a cash prize to a team or players or something too. I thought. I
Okay,
don't know though.
okay.
I could be totally wrong.
Yeah, and that's what I guess I would have to see is if there's something like that that is going to entice these teams. I could see like the Detroits, the Houstons, the San Antonios, the Utahs, the teams that are on the bubble or that are the Oklahoma Cities. I could see those teams getting fired up and wanting to win something like this. But as far as, like the defending champs or a team that's a playoff caliber team, top 2-3 teams in the West, in the East, I think at that time, they're still trying to dial in the rotation. They're still trying. Yeah, we could get some competitive basketball. We can get some tournaments in. It's always good to get a midseason tournament in at the youth level, high school level. College do it. They do it all the time. But I just don't know at the professional level for some of those guys if this is going to be that important. But we'll see. It could be a one and done. It very well could be a one and done kind of thing.
So if this latches on, do you see maybe next or whenever they kind of vote for rule changes? I think they do that every year, but do you think if this latches on, they'll lower the amount of regular season games played? Because everyone kind of hates the 82 games, maybe lower it to, in the 60 to 68 range or something like that, because this is going to add a lot more wear and tear. Especially, what is this going to do for load management? Or is that it, or is that the goal is to take that away because now you're playing for this?
Right.
It's not really going by seeding. So if you take days off, it really doesn't affect this in-season tournament.
See, the way I would have done this, and this has been talked about before, and you even kind of hit it right there with the lowering the amount of games, and we've talked about this, I think, in the past. But remember when the NBA season started later? It was COVID, and it started a little bit later, and then all of a sudden there got talks got thrown around about, hey, maybe we can start the season at this time, cut all these games out and start the season. I think it was like around that. I wouldn't say Christmas, but it was like it was around that time, November, Thanksgiving, or if we can start the season with a tournament. You know what I'm saying? Like a beginning of the season tournament. That would be, I think, could be ideal because it knocks out start the season later instead of because we usually started in what October, November, or something like that. Start it later in the month, a couple weeks later, and then do a beginning of the season tournament, and then that's your beginning of the season, and then you go right in. You get the tournament out of the way, and then you cut off maybe 10, 15 games of the season. You start the season with the tournament. Boom, you're right into it. I think that could be what this looks like going forward if this tournament is successful. But doing like you said, the All-Star break, like I could see them doing a tournament break instead of the All-Star break because you're still going to get those two or just foregoing the game altogether and then just having the skills competition. So if this is successful, there's a lot of potential of this NBA season changing or losing a couple games. I could see it going a lot of ways, but I would love to have the season start later and to start with this tournament. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, and a lot of people like that, around that Christmas timeline. Everyone liked that when what was that? The
It was 20.
lockout? Was
I
it the
feel like
lockout?
it could have been the lockout. It could have been the
Because
lockout.
a lot of people like that.
Yeah.
I think it was only like a 68 game season or whatever that was. It was crazy,
short.
but
Yep. It was
everyone
short.
kind of liked that Christmas around that Christmas time start. And like you said, we just talked about All-Star games and how watered down everything basically except for the MLB All-Star game is. Maybe you get rid of that. And because when I hear, oh, he's a 10-time All-Star, look, that really doesn't really do anything for me, Matt, because not only is the All-Star game just complete dog water, it has now become because fans vote.
Yeah.
I hate I have a love-hate relationship with fans voting because it shouldn't carry so much weight. If you want to vote for, I guess maybe like bench players or maybe like the last two guys to get in on either side, that's cool. Vote for the last guy to get in. I think the MLB does that. You vote the last guy to get in is completely 100% the fan vote, which is kind of cool. But to have so much weight, like remember when Yao Ming was hurt and 10 billion people in China still voted for him and he still got in. I don't think he played a game before the All-Star game and he was a starting center. Obviously he didn't play, but and I know you're going to replace injured people anyway, but to have this, I think he had over 1 million votes, Matt, and he didn't play one game that year just because fans carry that much weight. Look, I understand getting fans involved, but to say you're a 10-time All-Star when fans have that much weight, it means nothing. Everyone wants the All Pros. Everyone wants the Pro Bowl. That doesn't mean nothing. Fans vote. You want the All Pros, Matt. You want the All NBA. You want the All whatever teams because not only does that carry more weight for players, but they also get incentives when they make those all NBA teams.
Right. Well, right. And like I like that idea. And I think there was this there was a kind of an idea, I don't know exactly, but because it's the biggest thing is that it's tough for the All-Star because you said it right there that players get incentives. And if you're an All-Star or you make an All-Star team or you make an All-Pro team, then it unlocks a different level of your contract that you can get signed for. So I think that going that route with the fans, like you said, the fans need to be part of the All-Star game. The fans need to vote for it. But I think it should be voted. The league should vote on X amount of, or these are your five that you get. These are your five starters that the league voted for, or whoever it's the players, coaches, however they pick those starters. And then from there, you should have the fans vote on who starts. You know what I'm saying? Like like that should be where the fans get the voting from, not who makes the All-Star game, from the fans. Because if you're going to involve money and you're going to involve another level of another tier to be signed, and the fans are the ones that, because we all know, you said it right there you with your example with Yao Ming, and we see it every year with LeBron James. We'll see it probably. I wonder if this year, if Nikola, if Nicola's going to get some fans, and if they did do the draft, if he might be able to be on the other side of the draft. So there's a lot of things that could be switched there that I don't like about the fans voting and stuff like that. I agree with you 100% in that situation. But it'll be interesting to see how this goes forward. Definitely.
Right. So we'll see what happens with, because you're going to basically have 2 season stops. So
Right.
I'm imagining that's going to prolong the regular NBA playoffs into right now. Like, we could
Right.
be seeing the season wrap up right now. If you're taking a month off to do this tournament, Matt, that's just going to push everything into July, maybe August, and then you're going to have a shorter off season for these guys.
Yeah, and this, it's I just think that this tournament, we'll see what it looks like. But I think if they want to have 2 things during a season, they got to switch up the games. They got to have lesser, or lessen the amount of games from 82, take off 10, 15, 12, whatever it is. Have that tournament at the beginning of the season, and then you can still do your All-Star break, and you can still get in the playoffs. I think that'd be the best way to go. But I'm very excited to see how this turns out with basketball, because definitely excited to see how some of these players take this in-game tournament, how that some of the teams take it. I could see the Denver Nuggets not giving 2 bleeps about it whatsoever.
Right. And I like your idea of like starting the season, because I think it ends December 9th is when the tournament wraps up. So if you start the season by Christmas, have this tournament start where it's starting now, take off the October month and push it back 2 months, and then you have this tournament. I like the idea of however the seedings kind of fall in this tournament, that's where you start the season. So if, like, for example, the Clippers don't make anywhere in this tournament, they start out number 16 in the West, and then you kind of got to fight your way throughout the regular season to climb back into it. I kind of like that idea as well.
I like that too.
Or maybe however many games you win and lose, have that be your starting record when the regular season starts.
Yeah.
So I think you play, I want to say you only play maybe like 6 to 8 games in this tournament anyway. I don't know. I could be completely off base here. Remember, zero research, all reaction. So
the amount of, I agree. I agree with you. Because if you're playing a bunch of games, and you're make those games mean something. So if you come out with a good record, you win the tournament, then that's what you start out with. Yeah, I like that.
So
determines your seeding. Yeah.
For example, if you play 10 games in this tournament, you go 9-1, that's what you start the season as. If you go 0-10, that's what you start, and you kind of got to dig yourself out of that hole. So maybe it's I'm going to be engaged. I think it's going to be fun as hell to watch this tournament. I'll be on FanDuel all day long.
Yeah.
But I think that it'll be pretty cool. And I kind of like starting the season with the record that you had in this tournament. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. I like that idea.
Yeah, call us up, NBA. Call us up.
Hey, they're listening.
Yeah,
just give us a shout out. Just say, hey, thanks to the Wheelhouse.
Yeah. By the way, if you want to learn how the tournament works, just go Google or go on YouTube, and Richard Jefferson is like the spokesperson that they threw in this, and he explains it pretty well. So go check that out if you want, because again, I have no idea how it works. I watched that video 3 times and still don't really understand it, although he explains it pretty well. So maybe when we see it in person and how it works, then we'll get a better grasp of it. But go check that out, as well as Richard Jefferson is on that video. Summer League wrapping up as well, Matt. Are they still doing like the Summer League Championship? I haven't heard anything about
I
that.
haven't heard nothing about that either, because I was wondering, like, where are we at? Who's going to play that championship?
Because the Summer League's over.
It's basically done, right?
And you only play 4 games now? I thought it was like 10 games.
I thought there was a championship, and I was kind of caught off guard on that. On that whole deal.
Yeah, because I know I just pulled up the NBA app really quickly. It just has the Bulls and the Wizards. I guess it's 5 games because the Bulls finished 3-2. And on the Bulls Facebook page, it says wrapping up Summer League with a win. So I guess you only play 5 games. Nuggets went 2-3. I'm guessing. I thought there was a Summer League championship.
I thought there was too.
Never win the NBA championship, because didn't like Indiana win the Summer League or something last year? I want to say
something like that. I thought so too. I thought there was a championship as well.
Yeah, so maybe there still is, and maybe we just don't see it. Look at the Cavaliers, Rockets, and Jazz all went 4-0. They're not gonna. Oh, maybe the Cavs, but the Rockets will be better this year. I don't. The Warriors and the Magic went 0-5 in summer league, so I don't know how. I thought there was a championship. Maybe there still will be, but we'll see how that goes. Wimben, I already I'm
Wimbenyama.
just gonna call him Wemby. They shut him down after 2 games. By the way, we'll get into him really quickly here. Do you like the hype? Do you believe in the hype? What is your take? Because and then Greg Popovich subsequently went and signed a 5-year, $80 million extension with the San Antonio Spurs. Do you? I mean, his second game was way better than his first one. Obviously, everyone made a big deal about him right after the draft, going shooting some jumpers and stuff in full Spurs uniform right after the draft, and he went like 0 for 8 to start, and everyone's like, oh my god, he's a bust. I mean, dude, shut up.
Yeah.
And then he has 9 points and like 5 blocks in the first game, and then he goes off for I think like 24, 12 rebounds or something in the second game. So much better. What is your thoughts on the hype of Wemby? Because we haven't got to talk to him all that much since he played in 2 summer league games.
Man, it's for me, I look at Wembenyama and I don't see a big. I don't see a big there. He's what? Like he's 7'2". He's tall, lanky.
I thought
He's
he was
got
like 7'5".
is he bigger than that? Is he 7'5"? What wait, he's a monster. He's tall. But when I watch him, I think what people have to do is they don't look at him and think he's going to play the 5. Don't think of him he's going to be
7'5". He's 7'5".
7'5". Jeez Louise. Don't think of him as the big, even though he is the big. He doesn't do big things. He's not going to do big things in this NBA yet, unless he gets like that. This is everybody's been saying that he's got to get bigger. He's got to add muscle. He's got to blah 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 blah. His
Matt, he's 7'5" and he weighs less than I do, and I'm 6'3".
Right, and he's got to mature. His body's got to mature. He's got to get older. He's got to get all that stuff. So that stuff's going to come. But the thing that that when I see Wembenyama is I don't see a guy that is going to match up with other bigs. I don't see a guy that's going to match up with Anthony Davis, with Joel Embiid, with other bigs like that. I don't see that. I see him playing on the wing at first. I see him being on the wing, and I see him doing things like Kevin Durant does, maybe even a little bit more ball handling than Kevin Durant does. So that's who I look at Wembenyama like. Is he going to get block shots? Sure. Is he going to have some kind of a presence as far as rim protection? Sure. But I don't think you look at him as a traditional big, as a person that's going to turn his back to the basket and post you up. And what's funny, what cracks me up is how he said that the NBA is not as physical. Well, he hasn't played the NBA yet. He hasn't played an NBA game.
And not only that, he's going up against other rookies and
Exactly
second-year players. Like he's not going up against Jokic. He's not going up against Embiid. He's not going up against these guys.
Draymond Green is going to put him in his backpack. I mean, there are guys right now that are going to do work on this kid, and it's not going to be. It shouldn't be like taken away. Like, oh, he's a bust. That's the biggest thing. That's the problem with what we have right now with Wembenyama, is that people are going to say he's a bust so quick and without even letting him develop or even trying to see what he can become. I saw flashes of, I'm not going to say greatness, but I saw flashes of, I don't know what you're going to do with that. When he dials that in, or 2-3 years down the road, whatever it is, I don't know what you're going to do with that. His length and his skill is going to be a problem. If he stays healthy, health is big with that kind of player, with that kind of body. If he stays healthy, his length and his skill is going to be the problem. I don't think you're going to have to worry about physicality with him, because that's not going to be his game. This guy is going to destroy people on the perimeter if he stays healthy. And I was reading something with San Antonio. They're going to play the load management game with him. Of course, it's San Antonio. Of course, it's Greg Popovich. They're going to bring him along slowly. They're going to put him in situations to be competitive and to succeed and to fail. They're going to do all these things. You're not going to see him play as much, I don't think, as a rookie would. Like as much as Scoot Henderson is going to play, I don't think you're going to see Wemby play that much. But it's very, very intriguing. But I think the things are there from what I saw in those games that he can be an absolute problem. I'm not going to call him great. I'm not going to say he's going to be the next LBJ or the next Nicola, but there are things there that could make him a problem.
Yeah. For me, it just needs to muscle up a little bit, bulk up a little bit, because he's, for as tall as he is, like you mentioned, he's going to get pushed around
Yep.
pretty handily. Um, on picks and stuff like that, I'm interested to see how like pick and rolls against him are going to work. How, you're going to have, smaller guys set picks on him, especially when you're facing the Nuggets. You're going to have, even Jamal Murray try to set picks against this dude. Jamal Murray could probably walk between his legs, no problem. So it's going to be interesting to see how that kind of the pick and roll game is going to work against him as well, because you're going to want to get him out on the perimeter defensively, Matt. Just like everyone was trying to get Anthony Davis when the Nuggets played the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. Everyone wanted to get him out of the paint because he is a good rim protector. And so, Wemby's going to get the block. I wouldn't be surprised if he led the league in blocks, Matt.
Right.
Dudes were shooting 3-pointers. He just put an arm up, dude, and he got a finger on it, and it was like 5 feet short of the rim. That's all he has to do. Is just throw a hand up, and his, what is it, 9+ wingspan.
It's huge.
It's crazy. So we'll see the future of the NBA there. So yeah, a lot of hype on him, and so we'll see how the Spurs do this season. Although I kind of see him playing a little bit more, Matt. I know Greg Popovich invented pretty much load management back in the Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili days. Speaking of which, all three of those guys plus David Robinson are going to enshrine Pop into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame whenever that is. Again, another watered down NBA or another watered down Hall of Fame. I love Hall of Fame enshrinements, man. I don't want to get off on this tangent. Maybe we will when it gets closer, but everyone gets into the NBA Hall of Fame.
Everybody does.
So I don't understand how you're still coaching and you get into the Hall of Fame, but that's a whole nother thing. So it'll be interesting to see how Wemby does this season.
Yeah, it'll be, and not only Wemby, you got Scoot, you got Brandon Miller, you got the twins, one's
Anthony Black from Orlando's looked pretty good too.
Anthony Black has looked good. The twins from one from Houston, he got hurt, but the other one looked pretty
Detroit,
good.
Yep.
Yeah, he looked pretty good. So I think this could be a good rookie class. I really do, that we could see some players and watch them develop. And again, it's going to be an opportunity to see some players that didn't play in college basketball. They play in the G League. So this is going to be something that's new for us to see if the development is just as good if you go through the G League as opposed to going through playing 2, 3, 4 years of college. So I'm excited. And if you look right here at home with the Nuggets, you can see some things start to happen that you can see, okay, I can kind of see why we I guess optimistically looking like, okay, I can see why we didn't sign a bunch of guys this offseason.
Yeah, and Hunter Tyson has looked pretty good in the summer league, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I think, like you mentioned, especially here in Denver, the Nuggets are kind of going with the youth movement off the bench as they let kind of Bruce Brown walk, they let Jeff Green walk, and they're just going to go with younger guys. Hopefully we'll get to see Peyton Watson. I think he had an okay summer league. He didn't really lead the headlines. Hunter Tyson had like 32 points last night. I could be mistaken, but he led the game in scoring last night in the Nuggets' second summer league win, their finale. So these guys are going to be coming off the bench in a huge spot, man. There's going to be a lot of pressure on these young guys because it used to be veterans, like I just mentioned, Bruce Brown, Jeff Green. You're going to add these young guys to that mix. Although, are we going to see more of Hunter Tyson, or are we going to see more of like Zeke Naji? That's what we're going to have to debate, because Zeke didn't play the entire playoff run. DeAndre Jordan got a couple minutes. Reggie Jackson, who is he? I mean, Strother had a good game the other day.
Yep.
Pickett's had a decent summer league. So are these going to be the guys who are going to overtake those Bruce Brown, Jeff Greens? That's going to be the question, at least locally here in Denver.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see it. I'm excited, and I'm excited. Everybody was saying, and we've talked about this either through message or the last time we were on. Jeff Green, they're pointing a lot of fingers, like saying Jeff Green's out of here. Jeff Green left. They let Jeff. I thought he was going to retire after this year. I thought that would be it, and I think they're making with Jeff Green, the big Bruce Brown. That was, but Reggie. What I'm trying to say right now is I think they're putting a lot of confidence in Reggie Jackson, and I hope that, or I feel like he's got one more good run in him, and he's got enough. And I think this is what they're hoping, Calvin Booth and the guys over there, that Reggie Jackson can do enough to get these guys through, to that we can get these other guys to develop and bring them along to where they can contribute, to have the contribution that you had from a Christian Brown, that maybe that you get from a Bruce Brown later in the playoffs. And I think that's what they're going to bank on. Peyton Watson and Zeke Najee, in my opinion, are the two kind of guys that, for that 4 or that 5 to come off the bench, is going to be important to see which one of those guys does it. I think Zeke, if he can stay healthy, because he's had some injury problems, I think he's ready. I think the Nuggets are finally ready with Zeke Najee for him to go on and take that huge, big role as a big rotation piece, big player. Because he was coming down the stretch there before he got hurt, before they got riddled with injuries there, that bench anyway, where he was looking like he could probably do something. And I'm hoping that it's him and Peyton Watson, because Peyton Watson, we got a couple years more for his development, but I think that dude could be special, especially on the defensive end. And
Right.
as a long wing is what we need.
And then they also bring in Justin Holiday, brother of Drew Holiday. The Wish, if you order something on Wish, it never looks like it would have. So we got the Wish version of Drew Holiday, another vet who's been on like 15 teams and like
another
years.
Jeff Green. Yeah.
Basically your next Ish Smith or Jeff Green, pretty much. But he could play like a 2 or a 3. So he's kind of versatile in that matter. They lose Jack White to the Oklahoma City Thunder. So it's going to be plug and play, Matt. Christian Brown, I think, is going to get a lot more minutes this season. He did pretty well in most of the NBA playoffs this last season. You kind of minus the Lakers series. He didn't really fit well in the Western Conference Finals, but had big contributions in the NBA Finals. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting, at least locally here in Denver. All right, man. We always hate to bring this guy up. He who shall not be named, Voldemort, whatever, but we kind of have to say his name. I don't know if you watched the ESPYs, Matt, but keeping it local, Nikola won Best NBA Player. Jamal Murray won Comeback Player of the Year. So that was pretty cool to see. But LeBron won. What did he? Oh, best record-breaking performance when he broke Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's scoring record, and somehow he got 30 minutes to talk about pretty much anything he wanted. And then somehow Carmelo got like 20 minutes to talk about him retiring. I don't know how these guys got these minutes. But so LeBron goes up there. It's pretty cool, I guess, to see his whole family up there, kind of introduce him and stuff like that. And he says, when I'm not able to play the game, that's when I'll stop. And luckily for you guys, that's not next year. So he is coming back for a 21st season, Matt. And also, by the way, he's switching back to number 23. In honor, I get it, in honor of Bill Russell, whatever. But he is switching. So if you still had a Lakers number 23 jersey from when he first got there,
you can wear it again.
Now your number 6 is going to be worth more. If you had that.
Did you see that thing about Devin Booker? So I guess that playoff series, Devin Booker got LeBron's last 23 when they beat him.
Yeah, I did see that.
And like everybody was saying that was the most expensive, and then now he goes back to 23. Not anymore. This is why this is why he's not my GOAT. This is why I can't look at LeBron James and say he's the GOAT or say he's this, he's that. This is why. And look, you can go back to when Michael Jordan was playing, and you can probably pull up some press conferences, some things like this that are very similar. Very similar. You could, but for me, and for the things that the decision when he said he's taking his talents to South Beach, that was it right there for me. That was when I was off the LeBron James bandwagon, or not bandwagon, but just off the LeBron James train. Is when he did that. That was it for me. That he's not my GOAT right there. And then there's a couple other things he came out and talked about, the China stuff, then there was some other the BLM stuff that he got. There was just a lot of things that was going down that was like, God, man, I can't stand this guy because he opens his mouth and he talks. But he's using his platform, whatever. You got to tip your hat. He's using his platform, whatever. But then he comes up and he says, he takes that time. Like, I'm trying to put this in my head to where I can understand how he took that much time to talk about how he's not going to retire. How he says it, how he's not going to retire, the king, and he puts the crown on. Like, that stuff is so freaking annoying. It's so annoying.
And by the way, you're winning an award for best record-breaking performance. Didn't mention anything about that.
No, yes,
didn't mention Kareem. Didn't mention his teammates. Didn't really mention anything about that.
I was going back and forth on that with the ESPYs. I was like switching in and out. And when I got back to it, I swear to God, I thought that I missed the part where he got the award. And I watched that whole thing or that whole little sequence with LeBron, and I missed the part when he got the award. I thought that they said, "Hey, come up here and tell everybody you're not retiring." That's what I thought it was. And for him to go, and then he comes out to 23. I'm going back to 6 in honor of Bill Russell, or I'm going back to 23 in honor of Bill Russell. What about? I think 23 should be freaking banned in the league, or not banned.
I mean, I get it. I get it. Maybe, for God forbid Michael Jordan passes away, whenever that's going to be, maybe they do something. But yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So it's like, it's just the things that this guy does. And then when he came out, and remember when he was at the F1 series, and he said something in response to what Vic Lombardi and Michael Malone said with enjoy your time, but remember I'm the sun, and
always in the sun.
I'm always, yeah. And it's like, dude, this is why, this is why you can't say all that stuff and at the same time be the same guy that joined a super team in Miami with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh that did what he's supposed to do, but he left Cleveland and said, y'all build me a championship team and I'll be back. They did that. He goes back to a championship team with Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love. We could go down the list with what he did in Cleveland. Then he leaves there to go to the Lakers. I'm not going there and when he went there, set out the whole season that he didn't have anybody else with him. You could say he was injured, whatever. Set out the whole season, then he didn't have nobody with him. Gets Anthony Davis, gets these guys. The dude's a front runner. The dude is an absolute front runner, and that was the biggest example of him front running that we've seen up until now. It's just crazy how much that guy front runs, and it drives me absolutely insane. And it makes me forget everything he does on the basketball court because it's absolute great.
I don't know if you saw, somebody posted it was him warming up without a shirt or something, and on the side of his ribs or something, he has a tattoo that says loyalty, and someone posted, he's got to be the biggest hypocrite that there is in sports, having loyalty tatted on you. And then people commented like maybe he's talking about family, maybe he's talking about this or that or whatever. And that could very well be it, because loyalty in sports does not exist.
No. So. Now, not especially in the NBA anymore. It doesn't. And I just and then I've seen bits and pieces of him coaching. I don't know if you've seen these, but the guy's a crybaby when he's coaching. He's begging for everything when he's coaching. He's going crazy when he's coaching. I love the passion. Don't get me wrong. I love the passion, but it's just like this dude, man. It just sucks because everything, and I'm sure like if I went back through it, you can nitpick things about Michael Jordan. You can nitpick things about that guy. At least LeBron James isn't gambling every 5 minutes, on the golf course or over here or over there. You could go that route, but as far as the hypocritical things in this, and the dude has always been like, I'm going to make the situation the best for me instead of go to a situation and try to make it even better. That's just the way it's always been with LeBron James. And that's why he's not my GOAT. That's why I can't look at him as the GOAT, because he's always done that.
Right. So we will see what happens. By the way, this kind of all inclusive into the flop rule that they're bringing back. And I think now you can challenge whether it's a flop or not. And if it is a flop, Matt, you get a technical.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's a team technical or a personal technical. Either way,
It's
you're getting free throws.
But see, that's the thing that I don't like about that whole rule. I love the technical and everything, but that foul should be a personal foul.
Yeah.
It should go against your foul count, but it doesn't, and it should. So that's the only thing I don't like about it. But yeah, I'm curious to see how that works, how that turns out, because guys like LeBron, Harden, Chris Paul, I mean, we could just go Joel Embiid. I wonder what the outline or what is a flop and what's not a flop. That's what we got to get into now.
Yes, we will see how that's going to take into effect this season as well. So I'm glad they're bringing that back, because flops were at an all-time low or high, depending on which way. All-time low meaning, man, this sucks, everyone's doing it, to an all-time high, which means everyone's doing it. So no matter how you take that phrase, it is going to be a good thing. At least they're trying. At least they're trying it, I guess.
And I wouldn't be shocked if Nikola Jokic gets some kind of a flop tee. I wouldn't be shocked.
I think he's smart enough to know when to do it, because
I agree.
What series was that when he was like, all right, they're doing it? Was it the Miami series?
The Miami series. It was the Miami
Lakers?
series.
I think
it was both. It was both series. It was actually both series where he started. Yeah.
He was like, all right, I guess that's working. I'll fall down. Because let's face it, Matt, the Nuggets were the least on the floor that I've ever seen. I never saw one Nugget on the floor.
And I say that just because of the way that they officiate Nikola Jokic in the way that he'll get something that he's just going with the flow, and he's doing it because it was doing it, but he's going to get it. You know what I mean? So it's going to be real curious to see who they get flopping. And I think initially you're going to get flopping calls from guys who don't traditionally flop, or who don't, but it looks like like that's what I'm going to see, and we're going to have issues where, well, it's supposed to stop the flopping, but then they're calling it on things that aren't even a flop, or guys that don't flop. That's where we're going to kind of see who the floppers are and who aren't, is how they call these guys, or how they officiate the floppers.
Right. So we will see what happens with the new flop.
The flippy floppers.
Yeah. See you on the flippity flop. So we will see Dick and Flicka what that is going to be like next season. So I'm glad they're reinstituting that, and we'll also see what the in-season tournament. All right, Matt, before we get out of here, we mentioned at the top that the trade deadline's in a couple of days. Some big names already, and we're talking about the Major League Baseball now, some big names already kind of circulating throughout this early trade deadline talk. Probably the biggest name, Matt, right now is Shohei Ohtani, who, man, this dude,
future Rocky.
We're just past the All-Star break. This dude already has 33 home runs.
He's ridiculous.
I don't even know what his pitching numbers look like, but I'm sure they're pretty decent. I mean, the Angels are not going to be able to afford him, and they already gave a terrible contract to Anthony Rendon, the third baseman. They gave a pretty terrible contract to Albert Pujols when he signed there. This guy's going to command so much money, like you just said, future Rocky. That would be awesome. At least people would go to actually watch somebody play baseball at Coors Field rather than to drink beers and not get hit by a baseball now because they put nets up. I mean, Tim Anderson is circulating. Nolan Arenado's name has been around. A lot of White Sox and a lot of St. Louis Cardinals names have been around town. You know me, man. I'm a White Sox fan as well. They're 39 and 53. They're not. I mean, their season is already in the tank. Rockies actually got a good win 2 days ago. Again, by the way, traffic in Denver on Friday was the worst I think I've ever seen it. Not only that, not only did you have, I think Paramore was in town doing a concert at Ball Arena. The Swifties were out in full force Friday night as well, and then you have the Yankees in town.
Yep.
So it was just a triple threat of all of this. Just all of it. So the rubber match will go down today, by the way, 1:10 first pitch at Coors Field. The Rockies are 35 and 50. I mean, the Rockies, I don't know if they're going to be active at the trade deadline by getting rid of people. Of course, CJ Cron's name is always in the name. Charlie Blackmon, I don't think he's played a game, and it seems like in a month. Just all these guys. It was cool to see DJ back at Coors Field. He got a standing ovation. just a bunch of headlining names already, and we're just still 2 weeks out. And I mentioned Tim Anderson uh, for the White Sox, who's been a pretty good player for a number of years. So a lot of big names already circulating the trade deadline talk, and we're still 2 weeks away.
Right. It's going to shake down, and I think that a lot of this is like, hey, what's kind of the footing going to be? And I would be interested to see if the Rockies do something, whether it's to make their team quote unquote better or to make their situation better. We got to keep people coming to the ballpark, part of the problem kind of deal. That's the whole thing that's out there. If you go watch a Rockies game at Coors Field, you're part of the problem anymore. That's kind of what's going on. But whether I believe that or not, it is something to think about. But I just, when your team's out of it, you almost expect them to become sellers, right? And if I have a team or an allegiance, my team's probably the best team in baseball, so they're probably going to be buyers and they're going to add to their team and get better. I don't really know exactly what's going down with the Braves, but I know they're up there and they're probably looking to get better. But I look at the Rockies. Did you see the email that some fan wrote to Monfort, and I guess he responded?
Wasn't that not too? That was
Just recently, just a couple days
yeah.
ago. Yeah. About Shohei Ohtani. And he said, Moffett replied back like, hey, that would be fun for a couple months, but he's a free agent at the end of the year. And it's like, when he said something like that, and I think we've talked about this before, Mike, why not go that route? Just spend money just throw money, all the money at the biggest guy, the best player in the league, or couple best players in the league, get them in here. What could it hurt? What you're doing now is still keeping people in the ballpark. You get somebody else, you get these kind of players in here. I mean, you never know what the stadium could be packed every day. So seeing what a team like the Rockies are going to do would be interesting, which, like you said, CJ Crone, I wonder if anybody's going to come and come after the All-Star MVP. You think anybody's going to do that? I don't know. It's just curious when your team is out of it, and especially your local team here, I'm basically talking about, and to see when the trade line comes around, it's like, all right, well, let's see who goes, or probably not going to do anything.
I'm assuming they're going to stand pat, not do anything. By the way, the Rockies 35-58 again in the cellar in the National League West. The Atlanta Braves, you mentioned, 61-30, as they have a 9.5 game lead over the Miami Marlins of all teams in the NL East. Milwaukee leads the NL Central 51-42. Tampa Bay was the first team in the American League to 60 wins. They're 60-35. Twins lead the AL Central 47-46. That's probably the weakest division in baseball right now. And then, of course, the Texas Rangers of all teams in the AL West are 54-39. But
Bochy took over that team, man. Bochy's got those Rangers playing well.
Don't fret, though. The Rockies are not the worst team in Major League Baseball, Matt. There's actually one team that is below them. Actually, two teams, by the way. Kansas City Royals are 26-67, and the good old Oakland A's, soon to be Las Vegas, whatever you want to call them, 25-69. So there are two teams that are worse than the Rockies.
That when you look at that, Mike, it's like you look at those two teams, and the chances of those two teams that are worse than the Rockies right now of being better or being contenders in the next couple of years are way higher than the Rockies, right? Like you look at that and you're like, oh, well, they're rebuilding, blah, blah, blah. The A's could be better. The Royals could be better, but the Rockies are always going to stay the same in that situation. It's just so depressing thinking about that Rockies baseball team.
Yeah, and we try not to think of them. So
I try not to, but then it's just like, because you remember when this was just recently, like 2017, 2016, that little stretch there where we were excited again, like, hey, we got Nolan going, we got Trevor going, we got Charlie Blackmon going, we gotta build up the pitching, and then the stuff, and then they go out and they get the guys that they went and got, Professor Bridich. It's just like we were there. It wasn't too long ago where we were there getting excited. We were there pumped up. And then now it's like, man, like I remember what it was like watching a series, like being like, hey, they got that game, but they can still get the series. They can still get the series. And now it's like the hot dogs are okay. There's a lot of people there, you know. I don't know. It gets depressing thinking about being a Rockies fan.
Right. And if you're a tennis fan, the Wimbledon men's final going down right now between Carlos. It looks like Alcatraz, but I know that's not his last name.
I think Alcatraz, maybe.
Yeah, Alcaraz, maybe. It's very close to Alcatraz, but it's not.
Something like that.
Against Nikola Jokic, homeboy, in how do you say his name again?
Novak. Dovek Jokic. Oh shoot,
man, we do not do not know how to say names.
I've said it before. Novak Djokovic or something.
Djokovic, yeah. The D is silent.
Yeah.
the big D in front is silent. So he's going down right now. It is actually I don't know tennis terms, Matt, but it's tied at, I guess, 2 sets. It's tied at 2 sets apiece, so they're on the 3rd set. Is that what it's called? Sets?
Yes, set.
All right, there you go.
Yep.
So they're on the 3rd set right now. Djokovic won the first set 6-1, lost the second set 7-6. They are on the 3rd set right now, and he is down 2-1. Once again, Alcaraz, maybe, from Spain.
That sounds right.
Going against Djokovic in the Wimbledon final. So that's
I'm
right now.
I'm learning a lot about tennis because my boys are playing tennis and doing pretty good actually. But it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun.
There you go. So, and also, before we get out of here, go check everything out on the website as well, e5280sports.com. Speaking of tennis, very close to tennis, maybe a cousin of tennis. Pickleball is getting very huge, very big.
It is
around the country. Go check out Aaron Preble's 2 articles on pickleball. The Major League Pickleball draft. How about that? Just happened a few days ago, so see who went where. Learn about these team names, pretty cool. I like the Chicago pickleball team name match, the Chicago Slices, and a big pizza holding a pickleball racket.
That's
is their
awesome.
logo. Chicago obviously known for Chicago style pizza, so they're the pizza or the Chicago Slices, which I thought was pretty cool. Denver does not have a team yet, although a big tournament just happened in Denver. So go read up on all that. Once again, every Monday, Kim Becker will have her local Denver highlights. So go check that out every Monday. Dan and I will be back tomorrow with the Stalking Dead, recapping the last couple that we missed last week again. Last week was our kind of 4th of July holiday, so we didn't have that much content up last week. But Dan and I will be back tomorrow. He'll be back next week also with The Answer is 42. And also Jonathan Smith is back with us. He'll be dropping pods every Tuesday and Thursday. So
I'm on episode 3 of the new Walking Dead. I'm going to start it probably tonight.
There you go. So
before I watch, because are they on 4 or 5?
Tonight will be 5. So
yeah, okay. So I like having some to watch, so I don't, because I like watching them and then I'm like waiting for the next one. I'm like I'm gonna watch. I've been kind of waiting so I can have 2 to watch.
Yeah.
Catch up.
Yeah, so we will be recapping actually 4 and 5 tomorrow because we missed 3, and I'll get a recap and review up article as well. So all that's going down at e5280sports.com. Becky's new podcast is also available right now. Becky's Corner. She touches on the MLB All-Star Game and also some NFL, NBA, and NHL off-season news as well. So that is all up. And if you miss an episode, don't worry. You can catch the 24-hour stream on e5280sports.com. It's right there at the top of the page. It says 24-hour stream. All of the podcasts are saved in the audio vault, and all of the video podcasts that go along with those audio are all in the video vault as well. All of that is on e5280sports.com. So go check all of that out. A lot of content. Also, just reminder, follow all the socials, Instagram at Elevation 5280 Radio, Twitter at 5280 Sports Radio. Once again, you can follow Matt at Matt Mascarenas1. I am at Michael Spillin. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. Subscribe if you can also to the Spotify channel as well. And that is basically the same name. I'll just search Elevation 5280 Sports and Lifestyle in that as well. So we will appreciate all of those follows, mentions, subscriptions, everything you can do. and you'll hear us as we have faces for radio. So that's going to do it for us here on
Handsome radio, guys.
There you go. That's going to do it for us here on the Wheelhouse, here on Elevation 5280 Sports and Lifestyle. Once again, go check out all of the other content up there at e5280sports.com. But for Matt Mascarenas, I am Michael Smil. We will see you next week.